Okay, so I want to do just a quick video. I'm sitting here on the couch. I'm still kind of sick. So, I wanted to make some notes on freezer meals. Now, I have my binder here that I have everything organized in. I don't know if I did a tour of this one or not, but it's got all the colors and then the letters, and then I just go to freezer meals, and then that's F. So anyways, I got my freezer cooking tips and meals, and it's just a mix match of all different kinds of things. I don't have that many notes, but it'll all come in time. So anyways, I got a couple tips, and then I'm going to just go through some of my personal things. Now, I have a page here on October 4th. I did a bunch of freezer cooking. See, I wrote the date, and then I wrote everything that I made. I made a that big roast pan. I made that full of spaghetti sauce, and then I was left with 4 containers of spaghetti sauce. And that was because I believe I had used some of it for, like, I made spaghetti and penne pasta bakes and macaroni. So after I used up what I needed, I was left with 4 containers of spaghetti sauce. I had also made 6 ham and cheese, egg, breakfast burgers, and 6 sausage, cheese, and egg burgers. I made 2 rice bakes. 10 sausage and egg burritos, 7 cooked sausages, which whatever sausages were left from that, I just kind of made them into like little patties, cooked them up so that they were ready for like breakfast and different things like that. I made 8 bags of blanched carrots, 1 penne pasta bake, 4 burgers that were just leftover meat that I made, cooked those up. I made 31 meatballs altogether. I made 1 medium-sized shepherd's pie, 2 spaghetti bakes, 28 pancakes, 1 bag for broth, which would have probably been like when I was chopping up onions and carrot ends and stuff like that. I just ended up with a bag of mixed vegetable ends. And then I had a big bag of mixed shredded cheese, and I got a pot of macaroni, which I divided up. Or I think maybe we ate that day, and then I ended up with 44 French toast. So I went ahead, and as we were eating things and I was discovering things about this specific freezer cooking, because I've done them before, but I never really took notes on anything, and I didn't really make a variety of stuff. I made some notes. Anyways, just 1 second. Okay, so, yeah. So I just went through, and I'll start here with, no, actually, I'll start here. Sorry, I'm disorganized. I will read, basically, this has to do with this. That's why I'm going to tell you right now. So, last night was the first time that I made the rice bakes that I had cooked. We had 2, I made 1, and I wrote that the rice bake was gross, and I'm not going to make it again. The top of it was hard, and it was not something that we enjoyed, so unless I can make it, with the cream of mushrooms, the cream of, like, chicken, or I've seen it on people's channels, and it looked a lot better than what I ended up making. I think I just made, like, rice, and I put some soy sauce in it with some vegetables, and that was my rice bake. So maybe next time I will try it made slightly different, but I'll only make 1 instead of 2, so that way they don't get to try it before. Then the next thing was, I put next time, don't use chili flakes in the chili. I had only put a little bit, and the chili was super spicy. My son ate it for a little bit, but he wasn't really, really crazy about it. So, just to avoid that next time, I'm not going to use the chili flakes for the heat in the chili. The pancakes were great. He just finished off that bag, and we are the 8th of January. I believe yesterday morning he finished off the bag of pancakes. Like, obviously he doesn't have pancakes every single morning, And then I put, okay, this was a big one here. For the breakfast sandwiches, I had made ham and cheese and egg, and sausage and cheese and egg. And the egg I had done in a muffin tin, which down here somewhere I put don't use muffin tins to make egg McMuffins. So I've seen it done and I've sprayed them down, but they stuck so bad, and I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I ended up throwing out the muffin tin, just because I didn't want to deal with the mess. So, and another thing to go along with that was the eggs, because they kind of cooked and they're like still kind of thick. They had a hard time to, it almost froze like an ice cube. So when it thawed, it made the bun soggy, and like the sausage and egg my son loved. He didn't complain about it, but I said next time I make them, I'm going to kind of make like a scrambled egg, and I'll just put a little bit in the frying pan and fry it up so that it's thin, and I'll just put a thin layer of eggs on it, and then that way there, when I heat the sandwich up, it will heat up evenly and it will be good. So that was one of the notes that I made myself, was cook the eggs very thin for the breakfast sandwiches. Riley did not like the ham and egg breakfast sandwiches. He loved the sausage. He did not like the ham. It's like a sandwich ham. He did not like that. So I still have, I think, 4 or 5 of the ham and egg in the freezer. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I will maybe, I don't know. I've got some sausage, so maybe I'll just kind of warm them up, take the ham off, and put some sausage on there, just so that the whole, sandwich itself doesn't go to waste. So next time I know not to make the ham, I'll just make sausage. Another note was I didn't have pizza on here, but I made a note to make, shape, and freeze a bunch of pizza crusts. So I'll make them, I'll make the dough from scratch, and then I will put it on one of those pizza pans, put it in the oven to flash freeze it, and then I'll wrap it up really good and continue on with like that. And then that way there I can store them flat and on top of each other. They don't take up that much room. And yeah, or I mean, I could just freeze them into a ball. It's just harder to, thaw like that. That way there, if it's the size of the pizza, pan already, I can just kind of pop it out, get it, and put it in the oven, and it'll be just a little quicker, I think, to do it that way. So, because I did have I had 2, balls of pizza dough in the oven, and I mean, I took it out in the morning and it was fine by night, but this next tip I had learned on one of the YouTube channels that I watch. When she made her homemade broth, she put it in ice cube trays and froze it like that, and I said, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? That's such a good idea. So instead of making broths and trying to find different containers to fill them up with, I will just take them. I'll have to get a few more ice cube trays because I only have one, and then I can turn around, freeze them, and then pop them out into like a big bag, and then just as I need broth or whatever, just pull out a few. So I think that is a fantastic idea. Number 8, the French toast was good, but Riley wasn't a fan of it. Now, I still have a grocery bag full because I made 44 French toast. I've been eating a couple of them. There's a few times I made him some and he ate them, but he wasn't as crazy about it as other, like the pancakes, for instance. So I don't think that I will make French toast as a freezer meal anymore. I don't know. I'll see if I kind of give it to him, and if he eats it, then maybe next time I'll make a lot less, just to have a few on hand, but not a crazy 44, amount. Riley did not like the burritos. I had made some burritos. He did not like them, even though it's the same ingredients that were in his breakfast burgers, just it was in a wrap instead of a English muffin. He did not like them. So I've been eating the burritos, and I don't think I'm not really a big breakfast eater anyways, but I don't think I will make the burritos anymore. And if I do, it's definitely not going to be a big batch like I did, because I think there was only 10 of them, but there's still like a few left, so. Don't use muffin tins to make the Egg McMuffins, and I put big roaster, that roaster that you'd cook a turkey in. I made that a spaghetti sauce, and that was good. When I make the lasagnas, instead of making a huge pan of them, I'm just going to make a little small square one where you can get 4 pieces of lasagna, and that will be good. So we'll either each have a piece and there'll be a piece left over, or Riley and Jake can each have 2 pieces, because I love lasagna and spaghetti and different things like that, but I have such digestive issues that it burns my esophagus to eat anything like that. So making a batch, or I can make multiple lasagnas that way, and I can have 4 lasagnas where you can cut them into 4, and that'll be great. So, and then I wrote, Riley loved the sausage and egg breakfast sandwiches. I had also made pre-made meatballs and burgers. Now, when I made the meatballs, I made them and I cooked them, and then I flash froze them, and then afterwards I kind of put them all together so that whenever we wanted meatballs, we could pull them out. It's a matter of heating them up, and they were good to go. That is an awesome way of doing it. I love that, so I'm definitely going to do that again. And the burgers, well, I have like a burger press. I could take and make pre-made burgers like the ones you'd buy at the store, but this is actual hamburger. And yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Then you can stack your burgers and just pull them out as you need. And at our dollar store, they have, I think you can get like 100 or 200 little wax papers that you can put in between each burger, and that works really well. And yeah, so that's a good way of making burgers and meatballs. And then another thing I did was I had purchased a lot of cheese that month, so and I don't like grating cheese. That's one thing that I really don't like. So when I do it, I prefer to get it done at that one time and it's over with. So what I went ahead and did was I shred all the cheese, and I put them in the freezer bags and stuck them in the freezer, and then I could just pull them out whenever I needed them. So that was another note that I made myself. So those were just a couple things that I noted from the different things that I made here. Obviously, I'm going to have to try different recipes and things like that. Like, we made a shepherd's pie, so what I was thinking about writing down here was making up smaller little shepherd's pies, again, instead of the big ones like I would with the lasagna. Or sometimes you have those little pie plates, like the chicken pot pie plates. I've done shepherd's pies in those before, and that's a great way that if somebody wants a shepherd's pie, you can just take it out, stick it in the oven, and it will be ready to go within, an hour or so, cooked from frozen, because everything's pretty well cooked anyways. It's just a matter of thawing it and heating it back up. So those were little tips that I took from this freezer batch cooking. I will plan on doing another batch cooking at some point, but right now I'm just working on eating what's in the freezer and getting the freezers down to a point where I can kind of put everything into one freezer, thaw one out, give it a good wash, and then do the same with the other ones. So yeah, I'm trying to just use up what we have right now before I go out and purchase more and make more freezer meals. So some of the tips that I just picked up over the years and whatnot. For cookies, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I'll make the dough, and instead of making all my cookies right then and there, I make a couple, like 6, let's just say, and the rest I roll them into balls and I flash freeze them. I store them in an airtight container or a bag or whatever, and then whenever we're craving cookies or whatever, I'll pull a couple out, put them on the baking sheet, and we've got fresh cookies without the mess. So that is a good way of having fresh cookies without, always having to bake a fresh batch or cooking them all and then them not really being fresh. The pancakes, it's the same thing. I make them, flash freeze them, either, between a piece of wax paper or whatnot. That's another thing I've been doing for a couple years. The pizzas, there's a ton of different ways that you can do pizzas. You can make the dough and roll it into a ball and freeze it. You can make the dough and roll it into the pizza shape and freeze, or you can just make the whole pizza and freeze it, and then just cook it when you need it. So, French toast, whatever. It was just make them and put them in an airtight container. And then these were just different things that I've been jotting down. I have to go through this and fix this up a little bit, but there was just different recipes that I wanted to try. And then frozen breakfast items. Obviously, I make pancakes and burritos and egg McMuffins, and yeah. So that was just a little video. I know it's long and whatnot, but just a couple notes on some freezer meals. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what you guys like to cook and freeze. If you guys do freezer meals, or if you do big batch cooking, or there's different ways to do freezer cooking as well. And if you don't want to take a day and just do it all, you can, one night if you're making spaghetti, for instance, you can make a little bit extra and then just put the rest kind of into a container, store that into the freezer, and you've got a ready-made meal. There's a ton of different ways to do freezer cooking, but I like to kind of do it all on one day. Then you've got all the dishes done. It's a mess, but then once you get the dishes done, then you don't have to worry about that initial mess. So, anyways, I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys in my next video.